right, welcome to another episode of Keto Rocks Radio. I'm your host, Jim Hobbs, and my co-host to my right or left is Brian Damaged Forsythe from Kix.
Hello.
That's right, he's pointing left and right, covering all his bases. And so talking about Kix, how was the show this weekend at the Susquehanna Event Center? Drinking from his Brian Forsythe coffee mug, which you can order down below in the comment sections. Go to the page, order it. So how was the show, Brian? Tell us about the show this weekend.
Oh, it was cool. I was out in a big field next to a cornfield, and it was limited capacity, so there were only 20. Or what I was going to say 25. There were 500 people, but you couldn't really tell because it was so dark out there. But it was still a really great crowd, and the weather couldn't have been nicer. It was perfect, and which is, I always tell people that's weird for Kix because we always refer to the weather's always not on our side usually, and we call it the Kix cloud. But
yeah, it's usually 100. It's either 100 degrees or rainy, or it's never perfect weather. So hey, it's 2020. Anything's possible this year.
I know. So yeah, it was beautiful, a beautiful day, and then when the sun went down, it got cool but not cold, and I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better temperature and just the weather for an outdoor concert. So yeah, and it was obviously all the people that came were starving, for a concert, and I was telling you before we started, we ended up, man, we sold a ton of merch that night, like quadruple what we normally would have sold. People are just snatching it up. So that's good.
Pent up frustration. People want to support their Kix boy live music again at a venue and gather together with friends. So
yeah, and
glad you guys had awesome weather. Looks like you guys got a chance to see. Go ahead. What was that?
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, looks like you got a chance to meet up with a lot of friends that came to see you guys. I saw a few pictures posted online. I know you saw. I know Emily definitely was able to catch up with you, so that was awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do any meet and greets or any of that, but there were a few people that were able to come back after the show, back to the back. That's like the backstage parking area where the
right quadrant of the cornfield.
Yeah, and we had what do we call it? Those big motorhomes for dressing rooms. Although they didn't have electricity, which was a little weird. I think one of them had electricity. The one that Ronnie and I had didn't. So we got off stage and it was pitch black in there, and we're in there trying to collect all our stuff that was strewn everywhere. And I know something's going to come up missing at some point.
Did you guys have to light candles or grab a flashlight or get your phone to find out where everything was?
I actually pulled my car up and put the headlights on and left the door open.
That's hilarious. So and then take everybody through the day. So do you on your concert day, do you eat pre-meal or after? Since you guys had a pretty early show for Kix, 8:00. So did you guys eat? You and Mark go out to eat, or what you do?
No, because that was kind of an early show. We went on at 8, so our sound check was at 3 in the afternoon. So I had to leave Myersville at like 12:30 in the afternoon to make it up there because it's almost 2.5 hours. It's over a 2-hour drive to get up there. So and I wasn't sure what the food situation was gonna be. Sometimes you never know what you're walking into. So I made, I posted it. I made those, I hard-boiled 2 duck eggs and fried some bacon and just mixed it up together. That was like my
pre-show meal.
Yeah, and then I got there and it was slim pickings. There was, like the hospitality, like they have like lunch meat in the trailer and a loaf of bread, but the lunch meat was just like nothing that I really wanted, and the cheese was like American cheese and stuff. So there wasn't anything to eat, but they had a menu that they were going to order out for us, and but I didn't get that until like 5, and it was, so by the time I got my food it was like 6, and we went on at 8, and it was a Mexican restaurant that they had us order from, and so I'm looking at this and it's like, oh man, and then I saw where it said skirt steak, and I figured, okay, just a steak. It doesn't, it's not a burrito or anything where I'm
Right.
going to pick stuff out. So I ordered a skirt steak and no sides. But of course, it
It
came in
comes
a,
with rice. It came with
yeah, it came in
rice.
styrofoam. It had rice and beans and salad, but it had this little flap of steak about this big and about that thin, and it was cooked like rubber.
Must came from the half a cow that I bought last
Oh,
couple months ago.
and then they give you a plastic fork and knife to eat it with. The fork wouldn't even stick into the meat.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
the fork
You'd
tong,
break the plastic pickets or
they just bend. They wouldn't even go in. And then luckily the little knife had serrated edges, so I balanced the flap of the flap of meat on the side of the styrofoam thing and just sawed it and sawed it and sawed it till it came off. And then I'd put a piece in my mouth and chew it for like 10 minutes.
you were burning calories eating that meal.
Yeah. So that was my meal. That was my all my food for that day. So.
Wow. So in Mark's band, did I hear correctly? Mark's band played the next night at that same venue.
No, they played up the road. There was a vineyard up the road where they played.
Okay.
And I talked to Mark today, and he was describing it. He said it was way nicer, that venue. He goes, man, Kix should play there.
Wow.
Apparently, it had a built-in where they played. There was like a built-in stage, concrete with lighting trusses and a roof, and then this big hill. He said that goes up almost. He said like an amphitheater.
It's like a natural amphitheater.
Yeah, and the hill goes all the way up, and then at the top is where the vineyard is. So he said you could fit 10,000 people in there easy.
Wow.
And that where we played wasn't bad, for what it was, but the stage was only maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet off the ground. Small, kind of small stage.
And now, how far? I couldn't really tell by the videos, but it looks like they had the whole front of the stage was blocked off for a ways there, so nobody could come or any close to the front of the stage. Is that how it was?
Yeah, it was like I'm not good at judging feet, but it was at least 20 feet.
So it
20.
was a while before you could really see anybody. It was until the lights were turned on, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. So you had leather skirt steak pre-meal after you had your 2 duck eggs from home before you left, and
I made
did,
up
did
for it the next day though.
did you what you have the next day? Share that.
That was my I ate a giant ribeye. This juicy it was grass fed too. And had bacon and eggs with that too. But that was that Sunday? So I've had a ribeye every night since. I've Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and tonight Wednesday. I ate my 4th ribeye in a row for
Now,
this.
how many days have you gone? Is this a ribeye record, or are you going to set a new ribeye record?
No, it just happened that way. But I've got a big rack of spare ribs that I got from that Tennessee grass-fed place that I'm gonna make tomorrow. So I got to get up early.
I actually did I smoked a rack of ribs. Gosh, I guess yesterday. Yeah, and I did a brisket over the weekend. Well, not great, but the rack of ribs came out perfect. They were awesome. So they were great to be able to enjoy. And then today I did liver and onions. Haven't done liver and onions. Did it in the old cast iron skillet with butter, liver and onions, and actually I ate it. I don't know how you do your liver and onions, but I actually took the liver, cleaned it, washed them off, and then I soaked them in whipping cream
Oh,
and,
okay.
and soaked them for about an hour, and then took them out, rinsed them off again, and just did salt and butter and pepper. And gosh, it was delicious. Slinky, my basset hound, loved it. So he's now addicted. So I told him every Wednesday we'll have liver and onions. So he's pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I heard that the soaking it in milk or some kind of milk, uh, it draws out the. Actually, I heard you can do that with fish too. It'll sort of um, make the taste a little more mild.
Yeah, it takes the toxins or something out.
Yeah.
And it has a more, I guess, tame taste to it. There's nothing that's going to sit there and go that's going to have your taste buds react to, oh, what was that? So
Right. Yeah.
it was great. The only thing I tasted was the liver, the onions, and the butter. And the salt. So it was a perfect combo.
Well, usually when I do liver, I bread them with pork panko and fry them in bacon grease, but I don't do onions. So
Yeah,
I
that's
used to.
not.
I used to in the old days, but I don't do those anymore.
Yeah, Peggy doesn't do the onions. It really messes with her, but I still love onions, so I still do onions. So I enjoyed that. Now, as a kid, my mom used to do what everybody else did. She would literally do it in flour, I look back and I go, why did everybody use flour? Because the reality of it is, the liver and onions that I had today was way better than the ones I had as a kid. But it's just what they were told to do: vegetable oil, and
Mm. Yeah, my mom used to overcook it till it was just like shoe leather.
it could have been a skirt steak.
Yeah, except that
So
skirt steak, that was that was like roadkill or something.
they probably had no one ever order the skirt steak. That's probably been there since the beginning of their business. They're probably, someone ordered the skirt steak. Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess they use that in fajitas or something, but
Well, you'd have to slice it up really thin, and I guess it's possible. But
I think I got a cat hair in my contact.
is that from that looks like Smokey was enjoying the roost, looking out the window. It looked like you had just brushed her. Did you brush her today?
Well, yeah, I did. I actually brushed her twice today, but that picture was from the other day.
Okay.
But I think it was Monday, from Monday.
Now it looks like you got catnip growing underneath. Is that real catnip growing underneath on
No,
her?
it's just cat grass.
Okay. Is that different than catnip, or
Yeah, it's just grass
okay? So
because they like to chew on that, and it keeps her away from the plant,
okay.
the one plant that I have.
And she knows the difference. Like I can chew on the grass, but I can't chew on the plant.
Yeah, well, I have the plant out of her reach, so no,
Gotcha.
she does like cats like grass, so I always keep some around.
Awesome. Well, uh, did you run anybody out there at the event center that outside of Emily? Any keto or carnivorians out there that you ran into?
I'm trying to remember. Who did I see? I don't know. It's pretty much the usual.
Well, look, next week we got a great guest. So I just want to let everybody know that next week we actually have a nutritionist, CNC, CGP. Her name is Mary Ruddock. She will be joining us from Greece. And you're going to want to tune into this one. Give you a little bit of a tease of what that show is going to be about. She came from a physical illness that really had her um, depressed, I guess you could say. And she ended up, I'm not going to steal what she's going to share, but she literally had extreme nerve pain. And what really led to a whole discovery of what she should be doing is she put a CD in to start meditating, and she'd never meditated in her life. But in a few minutes, she started to uh, feel joy, and her body started to transform. The pain didn't really go away. She said the nerve pain was still present, but it transformed, and I began to feel joy for the first time since getting sick. And after that, she continued that journey, and to the point where she now believes food is fuel, and she's trying to debunk these lies that have been told to us. She's actually part of another gentleman's who's created a movie called Food Lies, I believe is what it's the title. The movie will be coming out, a documentary. So reached out to her. She will be our guest next Friday. So hopefully you guys will tune in to hear her story, because I think it's one that will be very impactful. It will encourage you. And maybe you're not at that place that you want to be right now. Maybe you have some setbacks. I know, Brian, I know we were talking earlier about that. And so if you want to share with people you know who are having setbacks and give them an encouraging word, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's weird because every once in a while a craving will still hit me, after all this time. And I had one yesterday. It was crazy because I haven't craved like sweets or anything like that for a while. And I'd already eaten, I ate my steak and all that yesterday. And I had to run out and pick up that order of meat from this place in Hendersonville where Tennessee Grass-Fed drops it off for me. So I went and picked up that order. Maybe that was it. I went to this it's like a produce market, and they have a bunch of different things, but they have all these cool products. They have all the Primal Kitchen stuff in there, and I went up to the counter and I said I was picking up my order, so I gave them my last name, and they went back to get it, and I walked around to where the little doorway is to the back, and I'm standing there waiting, and I look down and there's a whole rack of chocolate, like dark chocolate, different ones, and I'm like looking at them, and I think that might have like triggered something, because when I left there, well, first I stopped and got some food for Smokey, and then I'm on my way back, and I was going to stop at, I was going to check this other store, because I always go to Kroger. I was going to go to Publix to see if they had any of that Old Bay spice, because the last 3 times I've been to Kroger, they've been out. I don't, like over a month now, they haven't restocked. And someone suggested, maybe you should check another store, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a Publix right there. So I went up there, and the thing with this Publix, I don't usually shop there. I went
How are they? They're actually opening one up not too far from our house. We're not, about 20 minutes away, but I've never shopped at Publix. At least I don't believe I have.
Yeah, it's an all right store, but the Kroger is such a big place, so that became my regular shopping place.
Gotcha.
But the Publix, I'd go if I couldn't find something at the Kroger. So, but the one thing the Publix has is a better bakery section than the Kroger. And with my mind in that state, it was like the worst thing I could have done was go to that.
So did you walk through the bakery section?
Well, yeah, to get around, it's kind of actually just when you come in the door, it's right to the right. Well, it's same with Kroger too, but no, Kroger's is up around, but Kroger's is right next to the meat section. But Kroger has all this it's just nothing special kind of bakery junk. Like the cookies aren't that great, the muffins don't look that great, so they don't really attract me. But when I had first moved here, there was a couple times where I gave in and gave myself a treat, and I found like Publix had the carrot cake, they had red velvet cake there, like individual slices and little plastic things, and I knew that they had it, and that was like my mind was zoning in on that, and that craving was just like really strong, and I walked over and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I thought, well, maybe just one time won't kill me. But here's what I did to curb that, because I really didn't want to, but I was like this close. I was teetering on the edge. The thing that stopped me was I picked it up, I turned it over, and I looked at that big long paragraph of ingredients, and I just started reading, and that completely, it was like, nope, I'm not eating that. And I just put it back down and went and paid for my little Old Bay spice and left.
So they did have your Old Bay spice, so that was a victory.
Yeah. So I got that. So now I can buy some more crab meat sometime here soon.
There you go. Yeah, I got a $50 gift coupon for blue crabs. So I will. My actually Trent, our youngest son, is flying in from California on Friday. So, or yeah, he'll be coming in tonight after the show to pick him up, and he's spending the weekend with me, going back on Tuesday. But probably Sunday, I'm gonna go pick up a bunch of crabs for us to bring back home, and just him and I are the only ones in the family who love crabs. So we will sit there and pick at them and eat them, and maybe pick some extra meat and make some crab cakes. And
Yeah, crab
but
cake.
but love crab cakes. So the fact that you did not give in to your urge. So let's
Yeah.
just
Well,
let's
here's
talk about that.
yeah. Well, here's what I was gonna say was well, you know what? Well, here's the thing. I got home and I was like, I was still like sort of coming down from that whole craving incident. It was like crazy. I mean, it was almost scary, crazy. You know, my mind.
Right.
And remember, I told you I still had the box of those keto. They're called fat snacks, cookies.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's what I did. I ate that because it's completely safe.
Right.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like if you're gonna have like things like that go wrong, cheat with something that's still okay
Right.
instead of going like the wrong way and just eating some crap. Um, you know, if that those fat snacks wouldn't have been there, maybe I would have made some more bacon or something. But I mean, that's probably better. You know, eat some bacon or a hard boiled egg or something. But yeah, that was weird. But luckily, I did have that. So and I haven't eaten any of that stuff since. God, I can't even remember when I bought that. I think I told you about it like a
Yeah.
while ago, and I've not even looked in there.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the other night I had a craving, and I haven't had cravings lately. I mean, for a long time, I'm just don't have them. But the other night I had the same exact thing. I had this craving. It's like well, I think I know what it is. I think it's you and Emily's ice cream. So I wanted something chocolate, and I wanted ice cream, and I knew I don't have any ice cream in the house, and I knew I don't. I said, wait a minute, I'll go. I don't have the ingredients to make the ice cream that I used to make, but I have ingredients to make something that will satisfy that craving. So I went and took half a block of Philadelphia simple 5 ingredients cream cheese, whipping cream, and then I got some cocoa that's keto friendly cocoa powder, and I threw that in there, blended it up, and it came out like an ice. I had a bunch of ice, and it comes out like a milkshake. So I poured it in a bowl. Chocolate tasted great. So I sat there and had a whole bowl of that. Now Peggy goes, "You've been without cream all this time, and you've been doing much better, and now you just got through eating cream, but and you're going to be out in the water all day tomorrow. So, but do you know, I didn't have a reaction to it at all. Zero. Did not mess me up at all. And you know, it's keto friendly. I didn't have anything that would take me out of ketosis.
Yeah,
So, but and it satisfied the craving. But you know, the problem is, had I given in to that craving, and thank goodness I don't live someplace where I could just run down and grab some chocolate ice cream or chocolate.
yeah, and that's
But but so I know some people out there that happens, and I think we discussed this a couple of shows ago. And once you do that, and then it's just like throws you off, and then you got that craving you're fighting now. Like you pushed the boulder all the way to the top, and now you've let go of it, or you're going down the hill with it. And so you're like, you know what? I don't feel like making all the way up that mountain again. When the reality of it is, each day is going to come. So you might as well make each day count for you, so that your tomorrow, you're going to be feeling better than you were yesterday. So don't beat yourself up. Just pick yourself up and start new, and literally just leave whatever you did back where it was. That's not you anymore. You have a new you to move forward. So take advantage of your clean slate at this moment and run with it.
yeah. Yeah,
You,
I
you were going
have
to say something too, Brian. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you or
Oh no!
talk through you.
Well, I was gonna say something when you're talking about the cream. That used to be my go-to, kind of like a sweet thing after a meal. If I really wanted something, was like I'd just take some heavy whipping cream and just whip it and put some vanilla in it. So it was like like whipped cream.
Like a mousse, a chocolate mousse, or
Yeah, yeah. But I don't have any whipping cream around. In fact, they have the whipping cream I used for my last batch of ice cream. They have at that produce market where I was, but I didn't want to buy any cream. I didn't want to. I'm trying to stay away from the cream for at least a month.
I hear you. Yeah. So if you're one of those people who have fallen off the wagon, or you went off the keto plantation, truly don't beat yourself up. We all go through this. Look, my huge weakness is chocolate and peanut butter. Um, and every once in a while, I will go get a small jar of organic, no sugar added, just salt and peanut butter, and I'll go through it in three days. Um, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it. One of the great things that I think helps you reset. I don't know about Brian, but intermittent fasting truly helps you reset. So it really helps you to cleanse that out. So once you get that sugar and those cravings out from you, then you you're probably going to be okay. But if you adhere to the give in to what your brain wants, your mind wants, what your mind is craving, and really your mind is craving that because it's a comfort food because it brings you joy. But if
Hmm.
you can substitute something else that's going to bring you joy and manifest real results for you, you can rewire your brain to understand. Just like Brian said for the longest time that he replaced stevia in his coffee with salt, and I'll be honest, I'm like salt.
Well,
Well,
actually, I never did use any sweetener in my coffee.
was it
I
all okay?
actually,
Was it? But it's always salt. If you want something sweet, but you use salt as a sweetener, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I used to use it on like back when I still ate. I get the dark chocolate, the 100%
Right.
unsweetened, and I just put salt on it, and that would eating a little square of that with salt would would satisfy that need for like something sweet after I ate.
Yeah. And so that's what I ended up doing. I never considered myself ever giving up stevia but I have given up stevia now, except for the other night. I think I used a few drops on it, but in regards to my coffee, I don't add it to my coffee at all anymore. So it is salt, and it sounds weird me saying this, uh, but it actually brings more of the flavor of the coffee in the ingredients. So I truly hate to say it, but I think I actually like the salted coffee better than the stevia added coffee. So
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, you mentioned intermittent fasting. That was the other thing the other day or yesterday. I ate really early in the afternoon because I had to make that run out to Hendersonville. So my window was still technically open too, and that's why those cravings were so crazy because I knew I still had time.
right.
And um, normally it's when I get done eating, that's the end of my window closes, and that really like no matter if I'm craving and it's past time, then it's like I don't even
You don't give that any power. You just say, "Look, sorry, we're not eating. It's past our
yeah,
window.
yeah,
Time to move on."
yeah. So that really that's a really good tool for me anyway. I've found.
Now, do you use any other tools or ways to cope with cravings like you say at the end? Do you go paint, or do you go cook, or do you go play the guitar, or do you go lift at weights, or go distract yourself somewhere else, or go listen to music, or do anything?
Well, it's hard to tell because I don't. I mean, if I do get cravings, it'll be like I said, it'll be after I'm done eating. My eating window is done. So I don't really have to do anything besides remember that, okay, I'm already in my fasting mode, so I'm not eating. So it doesn't matter if I'm craving. Um, yeah, but like yesterday, well, I was out, driving and stuff, so there wasn't. I mean, the only thing I could do to fix that was leave the store. But because I can remember in the old days before back when I used to sort of go in and out, um, and I would get a craving, and I'd be out doing something. It was maybe even like I'd be like somewhere else, like say up in Maryland or something, not at home, and I'd drive my mother back to her house or something, and I'd be on the way back, and I'd start thinking about, um, I don't know, maybe it's just driving in the car and just being like, well, I could stop anywhere, I could, kind of a feeling, and I remember a couple of times just stopping and seeing what they had, like at a convenience mart, seeing what kind of cookies were in there, and a lot of times it just is nothing good, and I just go, okay, and just forget about it. But there's been times where the craving is so bad that I'll go on just a quest. I'll just start going everywhere till I find what I want, which is, it's like the drug addict behavior.
No, no, no. I can totally relate to that behavior because I used to do that. And a matter of fact, Peggy would tell you that anytime we went on a trip, that was like it was vacation mode and everything was off the table. I go, nope, I'm on vacation. I'm allowed. And so, I mean, just driving to get to where we're going to go. I mean, I pull off everywhere and just stack up on food. I mean, eating the food the whole way. We go by Chick-fil-A. I got, you know, a sausage, egg breakfast burrito, 2 or 3 of those, the wafer fries, and I'm and a big old milkshake, and then I'm stopping off to get iced coffee, and I mean, I probably have 5,000, 10,000 calories before I even get to my destination. And then I'm feeling kind of lethargic, I'm bloated to start my vacation.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, but that's what I did because my brain was telling me that I was having fun and that was bringing me joy and comfort. And then I go, oh, where are we going to eat? Then I'm like, the whole vacation is where am I going to eat my next meal? And so it's just like one uh, all you can eat buffet spread out through my 7 days of being on vacation. Then I come back and I've gained 15, 20 pounds and I'm feeling terrible. Uh, and then I would go, okay, time to get back serious. But that yo-yo is just not a good place to be. And so I'm so glad I'm finally over that period of my life. But I
Yeah,
know, but I know I can relate to people who are where I used to be. So I can relate to you if you're still on that roller coaster ride. Uh, but only thing I can tell you is to stick with it. You know, um,
well, another good thing to do. I mean, I think that's where, like when I first got into this whole way of eating, all the research that I did, and I continue to do it. I still watch people's podcasts and people's talks, and uh, all these doctors and stuff, and so I've learned a lot about what these different things, ingredients, do to your body when you eat them, and that really that comes so much in handy when I'm thinking about something, and then I think, oh no, wait, or I look at the ingredients, and I mean, you should have seen on that piece of cake yesterday I picked up. There must have been 200 ingredients, and the very first one was sugar, and then I just went down like two lines, and I saw a big soybean oil. It's like just one after another, just these toxic ingredients, and I know what those ingredients will do to me, and it's good to do the research and to really know why you're not eating it. Not um, just to know that that's bad for me isn't really it doesn't really tell you why it's bad for you.
right.
So it's good to know why and to sort of run all those ingredients through your head as you're thinking about maybe like eating the fries or something. It's like, you know.
Well, I think that's very important. So, if you're on this journey, then do your research and take the pieces that really resonate with you. And the best way to see whether or not it works for you is to apply it. Experience is a great teacher, especially since you can take the information you hear, whether it's on this show or many other keto carnivore podcasts or support pages on Facebook. But talk to other people, other like-minded, and do the research like you hear Brian saying. I mean, because when you start to take, like, let's use the carrot cake for example. When you take a just take a snapshot of that picture and then go on Google and Google what each one of those ingredients. I think you're going to be shocked at what those ingredients really are, and then how harmful they are to you. And so it's like the way you got to picture, at least I do. If I pick up that, it's like me picking up a can of roach killer or rat killer poison and going to digest it myself, knowing full well that it is poison. I know it's made to bait me to want to buy it and to eat it and to consume it, but that's exactly what rat bait is made to kill rats too. So just look at it that way. They really are keeping you addicted to something that's not healthy for you. And so I'm going to talk about a couple more things, Brian. I'm going to kind of, since you talked about different podcasts, and Dr. Ken Berry's book, he has a chapter about myths and lies and misconceptions that we've been told. And one of the ones I found interesting, I just pulled it up right here, is that coffee stunts the growth of children. And I don't know about you, but my parents and my family would never let the kids drink coffee. They go, no, you're not old enough yet. Is that how your folks treated you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this book, he says, my grandmother was a firm believer in this lie. Therefore, I was forbidden to drink coffee until I was 16 years old. Of course, I was sneaky and would drink coffee whenever I could without getting caught. I had an aunt who didn't believe this lie, and she had given all 6 of her children coffee without harming them. She used to sneak me some coffee when Granny wasn't looking. But apparently this lie was started by C.W. Post of Post Cereal, who was trying to market his breakfast drink, and therefore he had an ad campaign which he warned Americans of letting their kids drink coffee when they should be drinking Post's morning drink, which was made from wheat and molasses.
Right.
And it was much less healthier for children than coffee was. But, you said something, and I remember my parents would never let me have coffee. I go, can I have coffee? They go, no, you're not old enough. You got to wait till you're 16 or older. And I kept wondering what was in this coffee that was so that I couldn't have it. Well, it's like any other kid. You're like, I got to have this stuff. There must be something in it that's really awesome, because I see all these adults always drinking it. It's the go-to drink when they gather together. They start brewing coffee, but yet I can't partake in this. And so it just makes so much sense that it comes from, again, the food industry perpetrating a lie to get you to buy something that really is not good for you.
Oh, most of that stuff, most of the stuff that you hear like that was started exactly like that, and it was just, people started saying it and it became like this thing that everybody just assumed was true.
Yeah, and the other one, which I know is probably true, you may even had a doctor tell you this during your life, but that eating lots of carrots improves your night vision.
Yeah, the beta carotene.
The raw carrots are fairly good for you, but no research supports the idea that eating carrots improves night vision. This rumor probably was started at a British propaganda during World War II to encourage citizens to eat root vegetables, because root crops eaten raw are full of fiber and good nutrition, but there is no evidence that they improve the vision. Wow. It's just amazing to me that what we've been taught is the gospel, and what our parents, and look, there ain't no one that should have your back more than your parents. So they're only telling you what they have been told, and they believe the lie, and that lie just gets perpetrated and goes down the chain. You know, there's an old story that of a woman who got married, and she bought the ham, and she said, I'm gonna cook the ham just like my grandmother did, and she would cut both ends of it off and put it in the pan and cook it. And so her husband came home one day and had dinner, and he goes, hey, I gotta ask you a question. Why do you always cut both ends of the ham off? And she goes, oh, you're supposed to do that. She says, but why? He says, I don't know. He says, let me call my grandmother, because she's the one that always cut it off, and that's who I learned it from. So she called her grandmother and said, hey, Granny, why do you always cut both ends of the ham off? I do it too, but my husband wanted to know. So why do you do it? She's, well, I don't know why you do it, but my pan was never big enough to hold the ham that we bought, so I always had to cut both ends off to get it into the pan to cook it. But see, that's a perfect example of, we just do it because we've seen people who we respect, or we've been told to do that.
Yeah, you think that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no true reason to do it. So, as we've said on the show many times, you are your best physician. Go out, get your doctorate by the School of Hard Knocks, by reading, researching, and then taking bits and pieces and applying it to your life. And the ones that stick, that you feel better, your numbers are better, you're healthier, go with that. Say, yep, that works. The stuff that doesn't, throw that out. So,
Yeah. I'm sitting here like racking my brain trying to figure out what triggered that craving incident that I
yeah.
had. And I don't know if I mentioned it on the show before, but I discovered these new uh, electrolytes made by Redmond Real Salt, the Relight
Yeah.
electrolyte powder, and
Matter of fact, I can't get those. I'm out of stock. I tried to order them.
yeah,
They're out of stock till October for the ones that I use.
the unflavored ones.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's my favorite because that's what I started with, and then the second time I bought it, I bought an unflavored and a flavored just to try it. Because I think I saw Nisha, she was just scooping it in her mouth, and I'm like, oh, and Dr. Barry tried it, and he goes, oh, it tastes like one of those that candy, the pixie sticks. But so anyway, I got one of each, but the one with I'm so not used to sweet anymore that that I would take the regular and I take almost the whole scoop, put it in, and then I take a tiny, like a not even like an eighth of a scoop of the flavored and put
Right.
it in with it just to sort of give it a little something. And I think that's backfired on me because, well, for one thing, I ran out of the unflavored, so all I have is the flavored. But I've been using the Keto Chow drops and then a little bit of the flavored in there. But now I'm like, every time I have my electrolytes, I expect to taste that flavor. And see, it's like,
It's
I got,
rewiring that brain that likes that sweetness, and now it's
yeah.
going, we got to find ways to get more sweetness.
And I had gotten out of the habit of that and not even like, I was appreciating flavors with no sweetness.
Right.
And that's sort of taken me back a couple steps now. So they said it's not going to be ready till October. Man, that's a
I actually called them because I got my 10-gallon bucket of
right.
salt.
Saw that.
Yeah. So I'm ready for Jimmy Buffett now. But anyway, I I wanted to find out about their electrolytes. They kept saying out of stock. I said, well, can I go ahead and just order them now, and you guys ship them when they come in? And he said, we can't, we're not doing that because we don't know when they're going to get them in. Do you want me to let you know when we're going to get them in? So I got an email from them today saying that the flavors were going to be in mid-September, but the unflavored electrolytes won't get here till October.
Wow. Yeah,
So
I did. They had a live chat thing on there. I went through that with them. Like, when do you think it's gonna be back? And they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me a time. They just said, I left my email with them, but
Yeah, so October is when. So I'm like, I got to find another substitute for my electrolytes. This.
Well, the Keto Chow electrolyte drops are good, they just introduced Dr. Berry. What's it called? Daily Minerals or something.
I saw that.
It's a mineral drop, so it's basically electrolyte drops, but it's got, besides the potassium, magnesium, sodium, it's got like all those other things. What is it?
Magnesium.
Not
Or
magnesium, but manganese, or I forget what it's called. And it's got iodine in it. It's got all the other stuff in it. Manganese. What is that? I forget what it's called. And I think there's copper. There's a bunch of different
zinc.
minerals. Yeah, zinc's in it. So it's got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I
In,
just ordered.
in
Which
fact, the guy says it's a 32-ounce little bottle, but it weighs, what do you say? Now I forget it. It weighs, instead of, the weight is not what it says on, like
because it's so nutrient dense. It's because it's so
yeah, because minerals are
heavy
heavier than
metals. Yeah,
water. Yeah, and they packed them in, so.
yeah. I actually ordered a gallon of mineral of. Uh, I guess it's just called mineral. I don't know. I guess it's mineral water or whatever. But I ordered a gallon of it today off the same place I get my. Um, is it mud? What do I get from them? Anyway, I get something from copper. And Brian's going to head out, and so we know what that M word is.
Well, I was just going to show you, I don't know if you ever tried the
No, I
keto.
haven't tried that. No.
I mean, I usually keep this in my cabinet too. So I had that along with the powdered stuff. So luckily, when that ran out, I still have this to use.
Well, I'll have to order that. How much? How many ounces? Is that 30? Is that 32 ounces there?
No, this is only 18. This is 18.6. But
Okay.
you only need, well, how much they tell you to use? Let's see. Of course, my eyes are just like, wait, where's the dose? I'm trying to see the dose. A half a teaspoon. But I just take it and go squirt.
Right. No.
I don't measure.
Now, how long is that? How long would that bottle last you?
Oh, it lasts quite a while. Probably, well, I had to buy this. When did I buy this? I don't know. Maybe a month.
Okay, so it'll last a while.
Or just under a month, maybe. But I think I've been doing a lot more electrolytes lately than I used to. Like the first thing in the morning, I do the electrolytes with the what you call it, the God,
Go find it. Go ahead, run and go find it.
the dropper, iodine. I do that first thing in the morning after I feed the cat, and then I go do my workout, and then I come back up and do another dose after my workout for like a recovery thing. And then it just seems like now every time I go get a glass of water, I put a squirt of the electrolytes in it. So
Yeah, I need to.
I mean,
I
I used to just use salt all the time. Now it's usually electrolytes squirted in there.
Well, I can tell you that the electrolytes, I noticed a difference in my body, and then I also can tell you straight up that today's liver and onions, the liver, just like my body's and literally I felt like the surge of energy coming through my body after having that. I felt great. I mean, I just felt on top of the world, and I said, man, I got to start eating more liver and onions because I really did feel energy from that.
Yeah, I haven't had liver in a while, and I have like two big packs of them in my freezer that I haven't pulled out. The thing is, they pack it in, and there's more than one serving, and it's a vacuum pack thing, so I have to thaw out the whole thing, and then I can only eat like part of it. Either that, or I have to eat it like a few days in a row. But
I remember one of I mean, I loved it so much. I actually was a cook in my high school years and early college, and I remember working at Marriott, and we would always have liver and onions um, a la carte that we sold, and I remember when at the end of the day when no one ate the liver and onions, you could eat whatever you wanted to. Back then, they were okay with you eating the food leftovers, and nobody loved liver and onions more than I did. No one, as a matter of fact, no one liked liver and onions other than I. And so I usually take this big tray during my break, and I just sit there. I mean, there may have been, I kid you not, 20 pieces of liver and gravy, though, and onions. I would eat the whole tray right in one sitting.
And liver's pretty heavy when you eat it.
So I just I remember eating it. I just love liver and onions. And then today it kind of triggered back all those great memories I have. And, but you're right. I had a package. I thawed it out. I was like, goodness gracious, I got to cook all this now. Cause I've already thawed it out. Mm-hmm. And so I cooked all of it, but I did share it with Slinky. So Slinky had some liver and onions and he loves it. So him and I are good. So one package, I'll take care of both of us.
Yeah, it was funny. I discovered my love of liver when I moved out on my own, and I got to cook it for myself the first time, and it was like, oh man, I didn't know it was this good. You know, all those times struggling at home trying to eat the shoe leather.
Yeah, people either love liver or they hate it, and if they hate it, I think they probably haven't had it cooked the right way.
That's the problem. Yeah. If you cook it wrong, it's like not good. But if it's cooked right, yeah. For me, it's good.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So with that being said, it's time to wrap up this show and get ready for another one. So do you have any parting words? When did you guys say Kix is playing again?
We have a show. It was just a pop-up show. Like these are just little things that are popping up that our agent is just sort of grabbing onto. Next weekend, up north of Baltimore, we're doing a little club. I forget the name of it. I've never heard of the club before. It's just tiny hole in the wall. Very limited audience too.
Are they now? Is Maryland's social distancing different than Pennsylvania, or are they the same, or you have no idea?
Yeah, I don't know what the different rules are, but they have all the rules. And for us to book a gig, we stipulate, like no meet and greets, and they have to keep a barrier, the crowd back from the stage, so they're not like breathing on us.
Well, enjoy. If you're going to be up in Maryland, if you want to stick around till Monday, Trent and I are taking the boat out all day. So if you want to catch real food, let me know, and I'll tell you where to meet us, and you can go out and catch your real food.
Well, I'm actually booking that one tight because I don't want to have my pet sitter come out. So I'm just flying in the day before or the night before, playing, and then flying out the next morning.
I hear you. Yeah.
I might stay at the airport even.
Well, anyway, we'll enjoy the show. Enjoy your week. And everybody out there, stay well, stay safe, stay out of the hospital. And we will see you next Friday. Make sure you do tune in because we have an awesome guest. Mary Ruddick will be joining us next Friday. You will not want to miss her story. So have a great week, everybody.